Trump is igniting World War III and is Israel's puppet. Or at least that's what a lot of people are saying. And there's no way the internet could be a source of hyperbole, could it? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. And happy summer, everybody. We're now more than halfway through 2025, meaning we're closer to 2050 than we are to 2000. Isn't it depressing how we're all rapidly aging to our impending deaths? So, let's talk about something more lighthearted instead. Iran. I know. You're probably bummed out on the whole thing. Just a quick recap. The U.S. brought in the big boys, B-2 bombers, with 14 bunker buster bombs, and dozens more missiles that left 3 Iranian nuclear facilities looking like, well, kind of the same on the exterior since they were underground bases. But I bet the interior looks a lot like the exterior now too. In the aftermath, some Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia responded by saying they had deep concern and condemned and denounced the US's attack on Iran. But given how many Middle Eastern countries aren't exactly fans of Iran, this feels more like them saying, yeah, we totally have nothing to do with this. This is so bad. Wink, wink. Iran ended up retaliating with a rather weak strike on an American air base in Qatar, which reportedly resulted in no casualties. Trump then announced a ceasefire and was not happy that Israel and Iran were already violating it. I know, peace not lasting in the Middle East? Who could have possibly predicted that over the last time immemorial? For the cherry on top, Iranian state media declared victory with Legos. Man, the Lego movie franchise took a dark turn. It's totally fake because these women aren't wearing hijabs. As a result of the conflict, lots of panic has been floating in the air over the possible outcomes, like how Iran could close the Strait of Hormuz and put the world's oil supply at risk, how major US cities might come under attack, and most importantly, how WWE's Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia could be canceled. Oh yeah, and whether WWE Hall of Famer Trump started World War III. You, of course, have Democrats, though not all, criticizing Trump. Ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee, Representative Adam Smith, said Biden got us out of the one war that we were in Afghanistan. Trump has now started a war with Iran. I see. So now we're calling this a flex. What does he want Trump to do? Drop weapons for Iran to use? Meanwhile, in a move that surprised no one, AOC called for Trump's impeachment. And Representative Al Green went further. He actually filed an article of impeachment against Trump. Though this isn't the first time he's done this. He's like a Pokemon that only has one attack, and it isn't very effective. But it's not just Democrats going orange man bad, as is expected. Many on the right are also criticizing Trump and talking about World War III. Even months before the strike, Tucker Carlson predicted that a strike on the Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result in thousands of American deaths at bases throughout the Middle East and cost the United States tens of billions of dollars. A bombing campaign against Iran will set off a war, and it will be America's war. And now that the American bombs have landed, those like libertarian think tank the Cato Institute warned that Trump is dragging the U.S. into war. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene said, we are back into foreign wars, regime change, and World War III.
6 months in, Steve, and here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt.
Now, I totally get being skeptical of getting entangled in quagmires in the Middle East. That'd be a real dick move, Cheney specifically. But these kinds of knee-jerk reactions are preventing us from having actual intelligent conversations. That's why you go to America Uncovered, where we're all about having intelligent conversations. Like and subscribe. So what's up with all this talk about World War III? Is it just for clicks, to divide the MAGA base? Is the simulation we're living in running out of new ideas like Hollywood and can only churn out sequels and remakes? As I've mentioned in the past, lots of people have PTSD when they think about American bombs going off in the Middle East. The first thing they think of is how America got stuck spending billions of dollars and losing lives over Iraq and Afghanistan. But hey, at least that had a happy ending, right? Right? Qatari-funded Al Jazeera knows this and is feeding into people's fears by comparing Iraq in 2003 with Iran in 2025. It even put its readers to the test by having them read 10 statements and decide when they were made, 2003 or 2025. I always assumed World War III would start off with essentially a BuzzFeed quiz. Democrats like Senator Chris Van Hollen are also leaning into the Iraq-Iran comparison to paint Trump in the most negative light possible. But it is worth noting that while there may be similarities, there are a lot of differences between Iraq and Iran. For one has an N and one has a Q. Additionally, the attack on Iran isn't as preemptive as critics make it out to be. Iran launched its largest ballistic missile attack in history against Israel just last year. And the Iran-backed terrorist group Hamas did kind of set the ball in motion with its October 7th attack. To which I know some people will say, not America's problem. But what is America's problem is for decades, Iran has been behind dozens of attacks all over the world. It has also been helping a bunch of criminal networks that do impact America. They tried to kidnap a New York-based Iranian journalist and tried to kill Trump. They also kind of constantly say death to America. Also, they were the birthplace of the Iron Sheik, a rival of Trump's good buddy Hulk Hogan. So this feud's been brewing for decades. If it isn't canceled, they should have Trump versus the Ayatollah at WWE Night of Champions. So Iran is definitely a bad actor, and they were this close to getting nukes. Yes, WMDs. I told you the universe is just recycling old plots. Whatever you think about that, and I have no idea why you might question the US government saying a Middle Eastern country has WMDs, the International Atomic Energy Agency published this report stating that Iran had, in fact, enriched uranium up to 60%, far beyond what's needed for peaceful use. And that was stored in underground bunkers. Nothing suspicious there. So, regime change, anyone? Keep in mind that hasn't happened yet, but as you all know, regime change never works. This is a sentiment many people have. Though apparently people seem to entirely forget about successful cases such as Japan and Germany, unless they think the Nazis deserve a chance to turn things around. The whole idea that regime change is bad feeds into the argument that any use of force in the Middle East or elsewhere is inherently bad. The US should just stay out. People are so skeptical of using military force as a tool that they think it never works, or that the US is just too incompetent to accomplish anything with it. But it's worth noting that the US has been a lot more successful at fighting adversaries than critics make it out to be. ISIS is the most recent example. Remember them? If you forgot, it's because Trump helped completely obliterate them in his first term. There's something only millennials remember, like pogs or having a middle class. Now some might be screaming, but ISIS isn't completely gone. True, but while there are still ISIS and ISIS-inspired radicals out there, keep in mind that the ISIS caliphate that controlled half of Syria and a third of Iraq doesn't exist anymore. This is like saying that disco isn't dead because some bars have a disco night every third month. It'll make a massive comeback any day now. Remember, Trump managed to take ISIS down with the help of Kurds, Arab fighters, and other allies, and precision strikes to minimize US boots on the ground. And much of his success was due to his relatively hands-off approach to dealing with ISIS, letting the military do what it needed to do to defeat ISIS. At the time, The Guardian warned us this would lead to unchecked escalation. Didn't happen. So was that Trump getting the US involved in endless wars, or did his defeat of ISIS serve American interests? The question now is, will the bombing of Iran be a quagmire like Afghanistan and Iraq, or will it be more like the defeat of ISIS? Is it possible there's at least half a dozen other things that could happen? We don't know right now. So don't be taken advantage of by internet commentators spreading fear to get clicks or trying to divide America. So far, Tucker Carlson's prediction has not proven true. And as for the colorful comments people are making about the Jews, such as Candace Owens saying Trump is being manipulated and that the U.S. has become a colony of Israel.
We're going to war with Iran one way or the other because what Bibi Netanyahu wants is what Bibi Netanyahu gets.
Remember that Trump told Israel to stop dropping bombs, and he used his own colorful language to talk about Israel and Iran.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
It doesn't really sound like Israel has that much control over Trump. All that's to say, everyone just needs to chill out. Like I said before, in a few months, when we aren't in World War III, I'll say, Ayatollah you so. But what do you think? Do you think Iran will actually collapse? What actions should the U.S. take? Leave your comments below. And before you go, be sure to check out this other episode of America Uncovered, recommended by the algorithm, and you can support America Uncovered's nonpartisan take on news by contributing on Patreon. All it takes is as little as $1 an episode. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you at the discotheque.